Hey guys, Kyle, the Death Knight of Anime here, bringing you my review for One Piece episode 923. Now, let's talk about the big thing that happened at the end of this episode, which is that Big Mom has appeared at Wano, and with me just saying that, things just got a million times worse by just a simple fact. That makes it not one, but two Yonko for our heroes to deal with. Like, they're practically stuck in the middle of two fucking Yonko here. And while there is a tiny speck of room for this to possibly turn into a sort of uneasy alliance kind of situation in favor for the Straw Hats, I'm not holding my breath either, because both these emperors want Luffy's head on a fucking pike. And like I said, right now, like both Kaido and it's basically a situation right now where Kaido and Big Mom, they want Luffy's head on a pike, and that basically means the Straw Hats are basically stuck in the middle of this bullshit. So there is no way in which I envy the Straw Hats in this situation. Like, they are royally screwed beyond belief. And honestly, if you can believe me, it actually gets 10 times worse later on. Like, holy shit. Like, I do not envy them at all. I don't. I'm just, I really don't. I'm not sure I'm not sure how the hell they're gonna get out of this with both Big Mom and Kaido here. It's like, oh boy. Like, Oda, like, one thing you cannot blame One Piece for is it sure knows how to up the ante and really pile on the stakes. Like, holy shit. with no and with this episode, every now with this episode, we also get introduced to the town of Ebisu, where everyone's happy and where everyone's happy, and they got a smile on their face and whatnot. And yeah, I can't lie, when we got to those moments in the anime, my anger was and I'm not gonna lie to you guys, when we get with this reveal of the town of Ebisu, again, clearly something's going on here because everyone has a smile on their face and whatnot. But I'm just gonna tell you guys right now, and this is basically for all my manga readers, all the manga readers who watch my channel as well. When we get to that moment, my anger is definitely going to boil over and pop off like a volcano, because during just those scenes of seeing everyone with a smile on their face and laughing, I had my hands curled up into a fist, ready to punch my monitor. Yes, I got that fucking angry, because it's clear as day these people are suffering, while that fat face stuffs his face and parties like an entitled parties like every entitled dumbass in history. Of course, I guess to speak a little optimistically about Ebisu Town's situation, it should be worth noting that on the other side of that coin, despite how much it is clear that they're suffering just from the fact that they're suffering behind those smiles, it's clear that on the other side of that coin, whatever the citizens are going through, they've basically they've still found a way in order to appreciate what they have and look on the bright side of their situation, I guess. But yeah, you have no idea how freaking pissed. Like, again, anyone who knows what I'm talking about and has seen my chapter review of what I'm talking about, don't know how much this pisses me off looking back on it. Like, and that's including despite the new stuff we've gotten that does kind of make us sympathize with them. It's like, I want to punch. I want to punch him right now. I really want to punch. I really want to punch Orochi right now. Um, Putting that aside, though, we learned that a thief named Ushimitsu Kozo has been stealing from Orochi and giving back to the people. So pretty much Wano's version of Robin Hood. And going forward, just with this Ushimitsu Kozo character alone, you'll find that this is actually an alias that switches hands with several different characters. But one particular theory I've kind of stuck with is that Denjiro, one of Kinemon's comrades, is this Ushimitsu Kozo character. And I know the prevailing theory right now is that Denjiro is Kyoshiro just from the opening, but we have to remember this is One Piece and things are never that obvious. And just with and again, the thing with this Ushimitsu with and I'm not saying that pretty much. And the thing is, I'm not necessarily saying that Kyoshiro being Denjiro can happen. That's kind of a backup theory for me. But it's like it's also too freaking obvious. So it's like I and maybe I'm overthinking it, but I do kind of imagine that it is that one of that my theory right now is that he is that Denjiro is this Ushimitsu Kozo thief, and it does make sense in terms of it is gonna it is gonna make sense later on when you finally get into like a lot more of the meat of the Akazeya Nine, of the Akazeya Nine, the Nine Red Scabbards, just who these characters are. Let's put it that way. But yeah, so I think, but yeah, pretty much before we even get to probably whoever this character is, the name in itself is going to be switching hands with characters a lot. Let's put it that way. Now, I can't. So, I can't remember if this was in the manga. I think in terms of this episode, it was an anime only scene. But apparently, one thing we learned in this episode is that Kid had lost his arm in battle. Has lost his arm in a battle with Shanks. And aside from the fact that, yeah, we pretty much saw that coming. Like, it was pretty obvious that was going to be the end result if you end up fighting Shanks. I mean, and if anything, honestly, the fact that he lost his arm to the fact that he only walked away with a missing arm, Kid should be counting himself grateful, because honestly, that only elevates the fact that he escaped with only just a missing arm. Kind of only elevates Mr. Red-Haired Shanks even more in my book now. But all that aside, I do find it. I wonder if that's kind of. It makes me wonder now if cutting someone's arm off is almost is Shanks's calling card and his way of mercy now, because I do find it mildly ironic that Kid basically walked out of that battle with a missing arm, with a missing arm in kind of basically the same way that Shanks himself has a missing arm from rescuing Luffy. I wonder if that's kind of his calling card to his enemies now. He slices off someone's arm or something. Yeah, I do find it mildly ironic that they're both kind of missing an arm now. One thing to talk about, obviously, one minor other thing to talk about, obviously, is that Robin has successfully infiltrated the castle, and with Komurasaki, aka Hiyori, here, this couldn't have worked out better for her, because with Orochi having her undivided attention, this pretty much makes Robin's job of infiltrating slightly more easy to do. Of course, on the flip end of that, we also have X-Drake and Page 1 on the tail of our heroes as well. So, yeah, it's really kind of proving to be one of those things where there's basically threats at every corner. And with Drake, it appears he's learned to better master his own power since the time skip. The other thing with Drake, though, is that the other thing with Drake being here though is that in this is that his presence in so many ways is actually going to flip this whole arc upside down in a way you might not expect, like especially with Drake. But yeah, guys, that's all I got for this review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe. I'm on Twitter, Facebook, and what's your Crunchyroll. Death Knight of Anime, signing off. Later, guys.